first question for Charlie. Claudia?
Hey, Charlie, you faced the Dodgers twice this season and in the last year's World Series. How has that prepared you to face them now?
Maybe in a general sense it does. And I guess, having seen them for a few years now with the core that they have, the guys that they've been able to keep together over there. But when I scout these guys, I'm looking recent history. So maybe it's more of like a generic. I have a generic idea of what they do well, and I'm aware of how good they've been in the regular season and the postseason. But at the end of the day, I really have to look at those guys as individuals each time I face them, because you can kind of get overwhelmed by a team, especially if they're performing really, really well. And then, so just being objective and trying to look at them as individuals, that's how I'll go about it. But obviously they're a great team. A lot of professional hitters, professional ball players, and a great pitching staff too.
Okay, Mark?
Charlie, how special will this place always be for you, and what do you remember most when you think back about Game 7? What part of that game, what sticks out the most?
I don't know. I guess the most rewarding thing that I felt that probably that whole postseason was just the fact that I was able to do my job, and I don't feel like I let my team down, because I really do care about that, trying to go out there and do my job, no matter who I'm playing for or with. Those are when I fail and I don't get the job done for my team, that's what really eats at me. But the most special moments that I've had in my career, I would say that's probably those are the underlying similarities. Just like, man, like I did it. Like I didn't let the guys down, the team down. I didn't let the organization down, the fans. And that's just obviously on the field, but that's what I'll remember, is that probably that feeling of just kind of just some relief that I was able to do it.
Dave?
Charlie, you were real realistic, like in the first 120 games of the season. You're always noting that we have the capability, but we got to go on one of those runs, and who knows if we're going to be able to do it before the trade deadline and all that. How good does it feel to be here? And did you really think this team had a chance to get where you are now, 2 wins from the World Series and up 2-0 on the Dodgers?
Well, realistically, yes, because of the division. Everybody was treading water in their division, and I felt like the NL East this year was, we were all doing the same thing, but I felt like we were good teams. Even teams that finished at the bottom of the division this year, I felt like a team like the Marlins. Like, I felt like the Marlins were, for as young as their lineup is and their pitching. I mean, they have all the tools to do damage, I think, and they're going to be really good in the future. So even a team like that in our division, where we were just we were just going at each other, and like nobody could pull away. But yeah, realistically, like I didn't see a reason why we couldn't win the division. And then once you get in the playoffs, and I'm speaking from the perspective of, I guess, where my mindset was at in July, right? So, and then if you win the division, and then anything can happen in the postseason. Obviously, Ronnie got hurt, and then Alex made some tremendous moves at the deadline, and obviously, I think everybody's outlook certainly changed to some degree. But I wasn't sitting there in July thinking we have no shot to do anything in the division this year. I think where we were was kind of stuck with our own expectations and everyone else's expectations coming into spring training. It's like, here's a team that's one win away from going to the World Series. You know, basically the same team. And it just didn't look like we were the same team as the team that was here last year. So I think everybody's expectations kind of had to be revisited. And like we talked about before, it's like 4 months of just everybody just kind of grinding, trying to streak a couple wins together. So, yeah, I'm sorry about the length of that response.
It's okay.
I don't know where I'm talking about now.
Next question.
Hey, Charlie, let me jog your memory a little bit. AJ said the night before he told you, you know, it'd be McCullers first, and then you'd be coming out of the pen. That was flip-flopped in the ALCS Game 7. His expectation was you'd probably be in there by the 4th or 5th. What were your thoughts, you know, as it got pushed back to the 6th, and then take us to the 8th when he told you to stand as far away from the plate as possible for that bat?
I remember him just telling me that I was going to get in the game, whether it was in the middle of the game or the end of the game, and he didn't know which one it was going to be. And I remember being somewhat surprised by that. But I do remember just getting on a little bit of a roll and him saying, "You're going to hit." And then just, you know, we decided I wasn't going to swing, and I was just going to, you know, just stand there. And I like that. Like, anytime anyone tells me not to swing a bat, because I hate hitting. But, yeah.
Zach? Hey, just go back to 17 again. The reality of the experience, how did it differ from your perception going into that, and how did that moment help for an evening like tomorrow?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a really good question. I guess for me personally, I think because I tended to always doubt myself, and I get really anxious. Like, I was getting, like, during my first postseason start, which was with the Pirates. You know, people describe as a surreal moments. Like, it's kind of similar to that, except the thing that happens, like, it's kind of similar to like a debut, where you're just subconsciously and physically wired to be able to go out and pitch, and your mentality and your emotions, they're woven into that, and they tug at everything else, sometimes extremely, sometimes subtly, and but you're really just struggling to just find that that lane and that tunnel that can help you be successful. And I guess it never really sank in, even in 2013, that first postseason start that I had, until after the moment. And then in the postseason in 17, I don't know. I guess I never thought of myself as someone that was actually going to impact a team in that way. So that whole postseason was just it was surreal, and I've been fortunate to be on. I've been on a playoff team. If you're counting wild card teams, I've been on a playoff team every single year since 2013, except for 2016 when I was with the Phillies. I was with the Pirates 13, 14, and 15, then 17, 18 with the Astros, 19, 20 with the Rays, and now here in 21. And I don't know, I guess there's just something about postseason baseball that is just so special, and and unique and rare, because I know I know so many guys that play this game never even get a chance to experience that, and I'm very aware of that, but I don't think that my perception of what it is it'll never be accurate, and I'm not sure that it could be from where I am, from most guys in the clubhouse, because we have these, we've all had like the dreams, you know, when we were younger, and we've all watched postseason baseball on the TV, and we played the video games, you know, we've gone to the games and sat in the stands, and now here we are, and it's like, it doesn't feel like it could be possible. So, hope that answers your question.
Anything else for Charlie? Kelly?
Charlie, real quick, you just mentioned special, unique, rare this time of year. What about this team? I think about all the different guys, right, who've stepped up in big moments already, and I know that tends to be a characteristic of teams at this point in the year, but why has that worked for this group? Why has it become the MO for this group?
Well, kind of what I was talking to Dave about, we were a team that I think there were a lot of expectations surrounding the team. And we had some things happen in the year. We had some bad luck, some weird stuff happen. And we just were grinding for 4 months. And we've had a lot of new faces. But like me personally, I've made a concerted effort to try to connect with people as deeply as possible when I got to spring training and onward. I'm like, but it's hard to do that, and learn how to do that like every other year, which is what I've been doing since 2016. But I've found myself rooting for a lot of guys on this team very naturally, and easily, because I know that they're good dudes. And I think at the core of success, as a team, you know, guys just have to care about each other. And I think this group does. I think this group cares a lot about each other. And, you know, I know just watching especially the past 2 nights, how the guys that really embodied that, excited for each other, encouraging each other, screaming at each other, like in a positive way, you know, and just genuinely happy for teammates, to see teammates succeed. And I think that's what you're seeing.
Okay, here on the left.
Charlie, you talked about in your career having those moments of anxiousness and self-doubt. At one point, did you start to feel that you had that confidence, and how did you learn to kind of put that away before every start in the postseason? Were there anything specifically that you learned throughout your career to be able to table those nerves and anxious thoughts?
I would say the opportunities that I had to pitch in the postseason the first few times. So like the fact that the Pirates gave me the ball in 2013 in a division series start, then the fact that the Astros gave me the ball in 17 and in 18. And I would say that I'd say where I am now with my approach mentally and emotionally to a postseason start, I mean, there's no way around it just to say it wasn't easy. Like, it wasn't like I read a book or I got a quote sent to me and things just changed. I would say it was earned. Not just postseason stuff, but just from where I was from '08, and I would say that I've been extremely fortunate to continually be given the ball when I failed over and over again. Like with the Pirates, how they just stuck with me. I was there for 7 years, and several of those seasons were not good. One in particular was like historically bad, and through injuries, the Pirates stuck with me. So that led to other opportunities with other teams, and here I am. I'll be 38 in a month, and feeling like a completely different person from on the field, completely different than where I was, and I'm pretty glad how it happened. Like, I'm glad that I didn't have a ton of success early in my career, and I feel bad saying that because, like, dang, the Braves drafted me, spent 7 years developing me. I get traded. The Pirates stuck with me through several years of frustration. The Phillies traded for me. I gave them 4 starts, But I don't think that I would be at a place. Maybe I wouldn't be maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But I just know right now that I'm at peace with where I am. I'm at peace with where I am on the mound, in my life, and who knows? Maybe if I was 24 and putting up a 2 or 3 ERA every year for a few years, and someone paid me a huge contract, and maybe you'd be talking to some guy that wouldn't give you the time of day. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be the same dude, but I feel pretty good about where I am. Like, really appreciative and thankful how it happened.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Snit, the other day you said you'd sleep on it, who hits lead off, and obviously Eddie's produced there. What gave you that, or led to that final decision?
It was either he or Jock, and I kind of thought I'd rather have Jock. At the time, just hitting down in the middle with the opportunity to drive runs in, sandwich him around some right-handed hitters.
Next question. Over here on the left.
Snit, last night Austin Riley was talking about how obviously last year you were up against the Dodgers before, but this team knows now not to really take a lead for granted with this Dodgers team. Do you get that sense with them right now in this group and how important it is to just put it away?
Yeah, and I think it's probably a year's more maturity as a club and experience in what we did. And, I've said before, we found out how hard it is to win a game. And I don't think you can't take anything for granted, and you got to go into – you got to go after today. And but I think, with a year's experience and in the same position, that these guys are better versed for it right now.
Okay, far right, Andy.
Hey, Brian, what Jock has brought to your offense is fairly obvious, but I'm just curious, what has his effect been inside the clubhouse?
Well, I know he's sure the guys in there love him. I mean, he's a strong personality, as everybody knows, and he doesn't have a filter, and but it's been all good what he's brought to our clubhouse and our team, and I think guys were excited, obviously, when we got him, because Ronnie went down, and a couple days later he shows up. It's just Alex showed that we weren't going to just lay around and wait for something to happen. So, but he's been good. I mean, he's been, the guys love him. He brings that little edge, and he's been there and done that. He's another kid that brings credibility with him.
And I apologize for the words I'm about to say. What do you think of the pearls?
I honestly, whatever. I mean, I don't think I mean, they want to do it and it's good. I mean, things are, in today's game, I think the way the players are raised and all that, was I raised like that in the game? No. But these guys, they're a different generation. and they have fun with it. And I've said before, they're going to have fun playing baseball. God, what a novel idea, to do that and something like that. You're not hurting anybody. And I mean, I said, you look at the big screen in Atlanta, and you got all these, big, rough, tough guys that they got pearls on, and all the ladies, is things like went in their jewelry boxes and got their pearls out. And so, shoot, I'm fine with it. I'm not going to wear them. But.
Middle Zach.
To follow up on that, has Ronnie asked for a new set of pearls from you?
No, I don't even know if she has any.
She's due then, Snit.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't get your success as ball club with the 4 straight, titles over the last 4 years without being successful. But then you look at the record here; it's kind of flukish. Can you pinpoint one thing?
They're just really good here. Really good. I mean, it's it's fun to come out here. Dodger Stadium's an electric place, and the weather's nice, but they're a really tough team to beat here, and for us, obviously, in this ballpark.
Anything else for Snit? James in the back at the right.
I guess a lighthearted question along those lines. I know there's been so many ups and downs throughout the year, and I think in late April, Dansby burned some sage. I mean, I think you said he planted if it worked. Is there any lighthearted things along the year that helped? I guess superstitions or whatever.
I remember that
Yeah.
when he brought that in, and not really. I don't think. I mean, it's no, I don't think so.